Mercedes' Valtteri Bottas has been struggling. It's a strange situation for the Finn, who began the season so strongly, his confidence rock solid as he embarked on his debut year with the top team and an impending matchup with the sport's fastest man, Lewis Hamilton.
If I couldn't be quicker than Lewis, I would rather stay at home. I do believe in my skills.
Despite only joining in mid-January, Bottas secured his maiden pole position at round 3 in Bahrain, though finished third after a broken generator on the grid meant soaring tyre pressures, costing grip and likely his maiden win, which came in Russia and then again in Austria. Both top-class victories scored under maximum pressure from Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel. Across the first 16 races, he's either finished ahead of Hamilton or directly behind him 10 times, but hasn't been able to shadow the Brit in the last 3 Grands Prix, finishing 4th to win a Hamilton in Japan. The fans, though, have backed the Finn's abilities, with his Silver Arrows drive the ultimate test after 4 seasons with Williams.
He's come with a real challenge into Mercedes to replace Rosberg, and he's stepped up to the plate.
But in qualifying, Bottas has been on average 0.318 of a second behind Hamilton at 16 events, only outpacing him 5 times, including pole in Bahrain and Austria, with the biggest deficit 2.2 seconds in Italy. Naturally, it's Bottas's prime focus for the final 4 races. The Finn needing to match Hamilton's ability to drive around his car's narrow setup window.
Qualifying is the key always if you want to really fight for the win of the race. You can't give any places to your tough competitors, and especially, Lewis, my teammate, is probably the best qualifier ever in Formula 1, so it's never easy to try and be ahead, but that's always a good target for me.
However, more has been made of Bottas's qualifying deficit than perhaps needs to be, with the Finn adamant on airing his performance issues in the media, ensuring journalists and fans question whether he deserves his seat. It's an issue underlined by 2016 F1 world champion and former Mercedes driver Nico Rosberg, who famously used mind management to match Hamilton and then beat him to the world title. It's not ideal that Valtteri talks publicly about his problems, because that creates a wave of its own, and it doesn't help, said Rosberg. Bottas can't avoid the spotlight with F1 fueled by media coverage, but he will need to be selective with what he says to stay focused on getting the best from himself every time he leaves the pit lane.
I still feel I'm developing a lot with this team and getting better. I've had a couple of difficult race weekends for myself in the last few weekends, but really hoping to lift up my performance and be right up there.
Bottas has so far had a solid debut season with the Silver Arrows. His positive approach healing the rift created by the Rosberg-Hamilton era. But he must now put his head down and ensure he's learned from his recent struggles, keeping in mind exactly why Mercedes chose him to replace Rosberg following the German's shock retirement news.
We've analyzed every single driver, the ones that were available and the ones that weren't available, just to understand what we actually seek for. And at the end, Valtteri came out on top, not only because of his talent and his experience, but also because of his personality.
TheInsideLine.com for everything Formula 1.